Results orientation is very important. Many organizations I go to, they say that our people are busy from 9 to 5, but we know and they know they are not as productive as they are capable of being. And that is one of my biggest contributions to make them more productive. Various possibilities. And we can talk about that at various times. Managing your time better, for example. Caterpillar in Singapore invited me to run a time management program for the Asia Pacific office. And they invited people from 7 countries to attend that one-day program before the pandemic. And why? Because they believe that that would enhance productivity, right? So that could be a possibility. Stress could be another area. People are not able to produce their best because they are stressed. And we'll talk a little bit about that also during this session. So results are more important. It is not activity, but productivity that is the focus. Customer focus is very critical. There was a time when we used to talk of customer satisfaction. Today, that doesn't work. Organizations that will not satisfy their customers will die. Organizations that only satisfy their customer will survive. But is organizations that delight their customers, they will thrive. And that is what we need to be looking at within our organizations. How can we delight our customers so that we can thrive as an organization? And very important to remember that customer focus is not only about the external customer. It is also about the internal customer. Because many times it happens that we take good care of our external customers, but we don't take care of our internal customers as well. And some of them who are interfacing with the external customers, as a result, are not able to delight the external customer. So let's focus both on the internal as well as on the external customer. Now, in order to do all this and more, the soft skills are very important. Soft skills make a very hard difference. Studies at Harvard and Stanford University report that 85% of an executive's success at work is due to soft skills. Only 15% is due to functional or technical skills. And I see so many organizations investing so much time and energy and money on functional and technical training only, and not emphasizing enough on soft skills. Very, very important. In fact, I did a program at the International Society for Performance Improvement USA conference in San Francisco. And the training officer, title training officer, but head of training, was very, very impressed with the session and said, Nikhil, let me honestly confess, we need more sessions like yours. We spend so much time on technical training, refresher training, but we don't do enough on soft skills. And that topic there was, how to improve and excel by managing stress, by the way. So they said, we don't do enough of that. And I hope that we can do more after your session, because it opened our eyes. So I created a model. I said, what can happen by which, people can easily follow this, this point of soft skills. And I created a model which I trademarked, which is called the VEST model. And after I deliver this program at many organizations, online and offline, I often get feedback, Nikhil, your VEST is the best. Nikhil, your VEST is the best. Because they really find that in a short, one little acronym, I have covered what is really important for them. V stands for vision. E stands for enthusiasm. S is for stress mastery and therefore more energy. And T is for time management and trust. And I believe if you look at these 4 important pillars of this program, it would really help to unleash the organization's potential. Now, when I talk of vision, I'm not talking about the physical vision. I am talking about the vision of an individual and all the individuals of the organizations to see how they can take themselves and their companies in the 1 year from now, the 5 years from now, and so on, and then connect their today with their tomorrow that they are seeing. Because that's the way to work backwards. As Stephen Covey had said, begin with the end in mind, right? So what's it that I want to see example at a particular point in my life and in the life of the organization? And how do I work backwards to achieve that? Very, very critical. Because I will give you a couple of examples of non-visionary, one individual, one company, and you see what happens if the division is limited. Western Union internal memo, 1876. They said that this telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication. This device is inherently of no value to us. Imagine if that non-visionary statement was believed to be true and nobody worked after that on the telephone. Today, we would not have smartphones. Today, we would not be communicating with the world the way we are communicating today. It required visionaries who had a different and a greater vision to scope beyond the current obstacles, problems, and challenges that the telephone at that time presented and work on it so that it became better. I know when I went to the US in 1979 to pursue my MBA, India had a black dialer phone, and most of the time it did not work, right? And if you dialed a number 9 or a 0, it probably didn't come back to its original place and therefore dialed a wrong number. And in spite of that, probably spoke for 2-3 minutes to somebody because at least there was an opportunity to speak to somebody on the telephone. And from there to go to the US where there was a jack and I could go to the AT&T store and have push button phones and actually, choose the color, shape, size, everything was absolutely a miracle for me. But of course, post that time we didn't have mobile phones. So communication with my own family was like once a month because it was a few hundred rupees a minute and only a letter that was exchanged once that reached in 15 days and back, no emails, was the means of communication. My friends, that is why when I hear Pankaj Udas's Chithi Aayi Hai Ghazal, it still moistens my eyes. I remember those days when communication was so challenging and difficult. Let's look at one more example. Daryl Janik, a movie producer in the US, said when television was first in the US, he said television won't be able to capture any market after the first 6 months. People will soon get tired of staring at a plywood box every night. He was so confident, almost arrogant, that nothing will happen to movies. And we know what happened, right? Movies really went down when television picked up. And today we have televisions, channels which are, access to more than 1,000 channels worldwide. We should be visionaries like Walt Disney. Walt Disney wanted and had his vision to make people happy. He had a tough childhood, but he said, when I grow up, I'll give my daughter, who he had, after his marriage, he said, I will give her a lovely, childhood. And he used to take her to an amusement park every Saturday. Other parents would drop the children, go back. He would stay and watch her enjoy those parks. But one day he noticed that the ride was not working properly. Some paint had chipped off. And he had a grand vision. He said, why don't I create a park where people will come in from all over the world? Why don't I do that? And he said, that became his dream. 3 times he went bankrupt before the first park came into existence. But that vision was so grand that it made it a reality. Before the pandemic, more than 40 million people used to visit only Disneyland in Florida every year. And that was because of one man's vision to make people happy. I love the Intel vision. The HR vision of Intel says it's not just what we make, it's what we make possible. Great minds, big hearts, collaborating to make history. Isn't that an awesome vision, my friends? Unfortunately, some organizations have small minds and big hearts. Some organizations have great minds but small hearts. But the deadly combination is great minds and big hearts. And if that can happen, any organization can start. And that's where soft skills come in. If you want great minds and big hearts, the learning attitude and the emotional intelligence and the stress mastery, all these come in such a big way, along with other soft skills that are important. We must all have a vision that we can do more. In fact, I did a program for a bank in Muscat, and the whole focus was only on more. The program was doing more with the same resources that they had. And they loved it because they really got insights on how more can be done without necessarily having to recruit more people. The same persons could do more. New horizons and greater heights are possible for individuals and organizations all across the world.